of Sherman Steak. I am President G.
And I am Doodle.
And we would like to welcome you to the very first episode of Nauvoo
22.
Hey, that's my line, bro.
Oh, sorry.
Nauvoo 22 is a short series of videos where we are going to get ready for an incredible trip that we're going to take this summer to beautiful Nauvoo, Illinois. So let's get right to it, shall we? The dates of the trip are going to be June 6th through June 10th, so mark your calendars. It's going to be a perfect time to go to Nauvoo. Now you might be asking yourself, where is Nauvoo and what is Nauvoo? Well, Nauvoo is a small town on the border of Iowa and Illinois, right on the banks of the Mississippi River. Now, Nauvoo is not to be confused with NABOO, which according to Wikipedia is a small planet on the outer rim, home of Princess Amidala. Nauvoo, not Nauvoo. I'm glad we got that straight. This year's trip to Nauvoo has a theme, and the theme for this year's trip is Live Your Legacy. Now there are three main parts to this overall theme, and those three parts are?
Preserve your past, prevail over your present, and forge your future.
Now let's talk about all three of these parts and break them down a little bit. Part one of Living Your Legacy is?
Preserve your past.
So when we think about legacy, we usually think about those that came before us, like the pioneers and people like that. Is there any value to knowing who came before us? Elder Russell M. Ballard said this: "We must be sure that the legacy of faith received from the pioneers who came before us is never lost. Let their heroic lives touch our hearts, and especially the hearts of our youth, so the fire of true testimony and unwavering love for the Lord and His church will blaze brightly within each one of us as it did our faithful pioneers."
Let's use my siblings as an example. My brother Alton Philo was named after Philo Dibble. My dad's great-great-grandfather, who actually lived in Nauvoo, he was one of the first members of the church, and he knew the prophet Joseph Smith. He always stayed true and faithful through growing pains of the church. My other brother, Wilson Arthur, was named after Sterling Wilson Ming. If you are thinking to yourself, he looks Chinese. Well, he is Chinese. He was a hardworking, kind, and faithful man. He was not baptized during his earth life, but his son, Sterling Wilson Ming Jr., also known as my pop, was baptized a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. My pop and parents have been able to do temple work for my grandpa Ming. Because of my pop's courage and faith, my family now has an incredible legacy on both sides of the veil.
Thanks, Doodle. So it's true. So in your family, whether you have an ancestor that was from the 1830s or 1840s or someone that's really recent, you can always preserve your past, and that helps you live your legacy. And as we prepare for this epic trip to Nauvoo, we invite you to learn the story of the very first member of your family to join the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Learn their story and be ready to share it with your Nauvoo family. And now on to part two of Living Your Legacy. Prevail over your present.
Prevail? What does that mean?
Well, Doodle, prevail means to prove more powerful than opposing forces. It also means to be victorious. So, have power over your own life. You have something incredible to offer the world, so focus on what that is and how you're going to be victorious in your life. What's one way to do this? Well, President Nelson said, "Are you willing to let God prevail in your life? Are you willing to let God be the most important influence in your life?" In Nauvoo, we're going to talk about drowning out all the worldly voices and hearing only Heavenly Father's voice. That is how you can be victorious in your present. So, Doodle, are you ready to prevail over your present?
Yes. Yes, I am.
And now, the third and final part of Living Your Legacy is Forge Your Future.
Hey, President G, didn't Thomas S. Monson always say decisions determine destiny?
Well, yes, he did, Doodle. And what that means is, really, Satan is very strong in the world today. But if we can make great choices that align to the goals that we can have a very bright tomorrow, a very bright future.
Here you go, Ralph. You choose me? Happy Valentine's.
In fact, Elder Quentin L. Cook gave a great talk in General Conference. He told a story about a young man who had great goals. He wanted to get married to the temple, he wanted to go on a mission, but the choices that he was making day to day didn't match at all with those goals that he had set. Elder Cook said, "My concern is not only about the big tipping point decisions, but also the middle ground, the workaday world and seemingly ordinary decisions where we spend most of our time. In these areas, we need to emphasize moderation, balance, and especially wisdom. It is important to rise above rationalizations and make the best choices." So in NABOO, we'll be talking about forging our future by making great choices today that will lead to a beautiful tomorrow. And that's one great way that we can really live our legacy.
The theme sounds great, but what are you guys going to do at Nauvoo?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Huge trip highlights. This is going to be so fun. We're going to go to Liberty Jail. We're going to go to Nauvoo Village and see how the pioneers lived. Of course, we're going to be doing baptisms in the Nauvoo Temple. We're going to visit Carthage Jail where the prophet Joseph was killed. We're going to be doing an incredible service project, and we'll be visiting Adam on Diamond. Not to mention, we'll be doing a couple of dances and a talent show that's going to be unforgettable. Now, there are a couple of dates that you need to know, so mark these on your calendar. February 23rd, there will be a steak activity. Everybody that's going to Nauvoo will be at the Melissa Building. It's a Wednesday night, and we're going to have our steak Nauvoo kickoff. That's February 23rd. And then Saturday, May 14th, we're going to have another steak activity, and there will be a dance involved in that as well. Doesn't that sound great?
Oh yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be fun, you guys.
Okay. To finish things up, we have 2 invitations for you. In addition to the one we told you earlier about finding your pioneer story, invitation number 1, registration is happening. If you have not registered yet for Nauvoo, please register by January 31st. You just have a few days left, so make sure you get registered. There is a link in the comments below, so make sure you click on that link and get registered. Also, those of you that are on Instagram, we now have a Stake Youth Instagram account that we want you to follow. It is Sherman_Stake_Youth. So those of you that are on Instagram, follow that account. There's lots of great content coming your way. Well, Doodle, thanks for being with me today, and thank you for tuning in. It is going to be great. This is Nauvoo
22.
Oh, that was my line.
Sorry.
See you next time.